When I say that relationships are the most important thing in getting things done, when I look back at my career in the Navy and the SEAL teams, just about every single thing that I ever did was through relationships. So the amount of times that I looked at one of my subordinates and said, no, you will do what I'm saying because I'm in charge, I don't think I actually honestly ever said that one single time. I think it was always, hey, this is what we got to get done. How do you think we should do it? Do you think this is smart? And it was all based on relationships and up the chain of command too. There was never a time that one of my bosses said, hey, Jocko, shut up and you do what I told you to do. There was never a time that one of my bosses said that to me. There was, if I had a question, if I pushed back, they gave me legitimate answers. If they didn't have good answers, then they would modulate or change what it is that they were telling me to do. So this idea of having relationships up and down the chain of command, and there's a word that people bring up a lot, and I think they're pretty interchangeable, and it's relationships and trust, right? Trust is built on relationships. Relationships are built on trust. If you don't trust me, we don't really have a relationship. The more deeply you trust me, the better relationship we have. So how do I build trust with you? So if you're above me in the chain of command, well, this is one of those answers that's so obvious, it's crazy, but people actually fail to do this, which is if you ask me to do something as my boss, I do it, and I do it well, and I do it consistently, and I go above and beyond what you ask. And if you want me to deliver this project by this date, I deliver it earlier, and I deliver it to the best of my ability above and beyond what you expected. And you say, oh wow, when I ask Jocko to do something, he actually does it. And that's where it starts. It starts with that right there, with me performing, me offering advice, me taking what you asked me to do and doing it. That's the number one thing. If we flip those roles, and now I'm in charge of you, how do I build trust with you? Well, what I do is I give you a project. And instead of me giving you a project and then saying, hey, here's how I want you to do this, and here's how I want you to do the next part, instead I say, hey, here's a project. Let me know how you want to do it. And then you go figure out how you want to get done. And I don't micromanage you, and I don't ask you a million questions about and tell you, no, don't do it like that, do it like this. I let you do it. And what does that tell you? That tells you that I trust you. I trust you. And when I trust you, you start to trust me. And by the way, if something goes wrong, instead of me jumping down your throat and hanging you out to dry and making you an example in front of everyone, I say, hey, let's figure out what went wrong. Did I not support you well enough? Did I not give you what you needed? And so you realize, oh, he's not going to hang me out to dry. He's going to give me the support. He's going to try and teach me if something goes wrong instead of try and drop the hammer on me. And in order to do this properly, of course, let's say you just started working for me. The first thing I would hand you wouldn't be a massively strategic, important project and say, hey, here's a multi-million-dollar project. You take and run with it. I'll be over here. I trust you. You make it happen because I don't know you. How can I trust you if I don't know you? So I'm going to give you a smaller project. I'm going to give you something little to start on. And then you do that well, boom. Now I'm going to give you something bigger. And we continue to go in that direction until pretty much we get to a point where all I really have to tell you is, hey, this is the vision. This is what we're trying to make happen. Run with it. If you need to pass this barrier of whatever kind, let me know so I can let everyone else know. But it's on you. Run with it. I ask questions. Now, when I ask questions, this is a tool, but it's also legitimate questions. So when I say, hey, Tom, here's the project I want you to get done. Can you take a look at it and tell me how you want to get it done? And you come back to me, 3 days later, and you say, hey, boss, I was looking at this thing and it's just not possible. What do you think our real challenges are? And then you say, well, we can't get the supplies in time. And then you say, well, and also we don't have enough manning. And I say, okay, well, what's taking the supplies so long to get here? And you say, well, they're coming across the country on a truck. And so it's going to take, a week and a half for them to get here. And we don't have enough people because it's going to take 190 man hours in this amount of time. And I only have 3 guys. So it's impossible. And I go, is there any other way to ship stuff across the country? And you say, well, I guess we could, we could fly, but it's going to be more expensive. Oh, okay. Well, how much more expensive? You see what I'm saying? Right. And so eventually, you're going to come to the solution. You're going to come to the solution. And I'm going to be happy that you come to the solution. Or there's a chance that you actually say, hey, Jocko, it's not possible. And here's why. And you tell me something that I didn't foresee. Because I'm at a higher level, I'm elevated, I'm overseeing 14 different projects. You just got one. When you dig in and you pull the thread, you realize it can't be done. I go, oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay. I'm legitimately asking these questions. I'm not doing this, okay, well, we're going to get you there, and that's what's going to happen. I already know the outcome. No, I think I know the outcome, but I'm not sure of it. You know how many times I'm sure of what the outcome's going to be? Not very often. So the truth is I'm being totally transparent. I'm asking legitimate questions. I think I know the answers. I think they're going to lead to the right place. And so it's okay to let that run its course. Now, you talked about manipulation. Manipulation obviously has a bad connotation. Leadership has a good connotation. What's the difference between the two? Because guess what? If I'm manipulating you, I'm trying to get you to do something. If I'm leading you, I'm trying to get you to do something. And many of the tools are very similar. So what's the difference between me leading you and me manipulating you? It's very easy for me to answer that question. If I'm manipulating you, I'm trying to get you to do something that's going to benefit me. If I'm leading, I'm trying to get you to do something that's going to benefit you, it's going to benefit the team, and it's going to benefit the mission. So for me, those are too easy. Those are too easy. It's real obvious. And by the way, if I'm a manipulator, I can get away with that for a little while, but eventually you're going to look at me for what I am. You're going to see that the maneuvers I'm making, the tools I'm using, I'm utilizing those tools for my own benefit. And as soon as you see that, you won't fully support me. You won't. The same goes for when I'm trying to make you do something good for yourself and for the team. You're going to see that too. And you're going to say, he actually cares about me. That's what he's doing this for. And when you know I care about you, you'll do anything for me. I mean, that's what it boils down to. If my team, and I mentioned that in the book, it's like, oh, I want to give you hard criticism. How do I give you hard criticism? The first thing I have to do is make sure that you understand I care about you. Which is not easy to do. And it's not always obvious. But if you know that more than anything else, what I want is for you to be successful, when I say, hey Tom, I'm looking at the outcome of the last project and you were like 3 weeks past the time. I think there's some things that we could do to kind of make you a little bit more efficient in leading these things. If you know that my number one thing is that I care about you, you're going to be all ears. To an extent. Because guess what percentage of the world is truly open for criticism?
What's the number?
Oh, it's tiny. There's so few people that are truly open to criticism. I always use this example. Like if I went and talked to your company and got done and was like, hey Tom, it's great talking to your company. You got any feedback for me? And you said, well, yeah, I think you could have spent a little more time talking about extreme ownership. It would have been a little bit better for my crew. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh, really? Oh, you think? No, that's what we think. Even though I actually asked for feedback, I'm getting mad. My ego's perking up. So most of the time, people don't want to get that direct feedback. And in fact, sometimes when I hear people say, I'm just going to get direct with this person. I'm just going to let them know exactly what they're screwing up. Almost always, that's a bad idea. Now, and there's some people that sit there and they say, well, that's weak or whatever, but it's not, because I'm going to get the message to you. I'm just going to deliver it in a way that you accept it more, that your mind is open to it. That's what I'm trying to do as a leader, as a friend, as someone that cares about you. Hey, look, I need to get this information to you. Now, this will escalate over time. And if I've tried, if I said, hey, Tom, I think we could do this better, and you still fail. And I say, hey, Tom, maybe you should try this, and you still fail. And then I say, hey, Tom, I think this is the way you should go, and you still fail. And then I'm going to get to a point where I'm saying, listen, Tom, this isn't working. The way you are doing this is not working. And I told you this, and I told you that, and I told you the other thing. And what I'm trying to say is that you need to change this part of your game. It is hurting you.